I have a story from out of Arizona that so perfectly highlights the hypocrisy of MAGA women, and you're definitely going to want to listen. A young woman named Miley Biggs has decided to run for state senate in Arizona. And yeah, lots of Republican women run for office, lots of MAGA women run for office. The thing is, though, y'all, exactly a year ago, Miley Biggs got on the Maddie McCurdy program podcast, which I've never heard of. I think it's a right-wing podcast, and said, quote, honestly, I don't know if I would vote for any female. I don't know if females should be in office. Not a joke. Biggs made it very clear that she was not kidding. She doubled down by saying there are a lot of really good women in office. I'm not trying to hate on anyone, like some really good congresswomen. Yeah, I don't really think women should hold office in general. That's my position. That's my stance. I think women should run the home. Yeah, you heard that right. A young woman who said just a year ago that she didn't think women should be holding political office is now running for political office in Arizona. And that last name, Biggs, that might sound familiar to you because Miley's dad is nutjob, Freedom Caucus, MAGA Republican Andy Biggs, who is one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters. In fact, he's an election denier, and his own family took the extraordinary step of publicly speaking out against him after he helped plan the pro-Trump rally at the Capitol on January 6th that turned into an insurrection. Biggs, not surprisingly, is from a large Mormon family, and his brothers William Biggs and Daniel Biggs said political ambition, peer pressure, and fealty to Trump proved to be too strong of a drug to resist for their brother. Now, I could go on a rant about how establishment Democrats failed to get justice for the American people after January 6th, and that's a big part of the reason we're in the mess we're in now. But let's get back to Andy Biggs' daughter, Miley, because you know what? Daughters should never be held accountable for the actions of their fathers, even though society likes to make them bear that burden. Miley's actions speak for themselves. Andy Biggs is responsible for his own words and actions, and Miley Biggs is responsible for hers. Now, Miley said in this right-wing podcast that she prefers to stay at home. She thinks women should be in charge of running the home. And yet, last year, she graduated from the University of Arizona with a degree in political science and then went on to work for the right-wing group Free Enterprise Club. And now she wants to run for office despite having expressed her concerns that modern feminism has negatively changed society, starting with the right to vote. Miley doesn't see the hypocrisy here. She doesn't seem to understand that the reason she was allowed to go to college, the reason she's allowed to drive a car, the reason that she's allowed to have a bank account, to be able to get her own apartment, the reason she's able to own property, the reason she's able to vote and run for elected office is because of feminism. It's because of all of the labor, the sacrifice, the lives of women who were willing to fight for the rights she now takes for granted, and many of the rights she is seeking to deny other women in this country. Of course, she went on to spew some pick-me shit to appeal to conservative men. She said, I hate the 9-to-5 schedule. I get home and I don't want to do anything else. Like, women aren't built for this. I just want to be a wife. I just want to be a mom. And then 11 months later, you now want to run for state senate? You now want to be a politician, working more than a 9-to-5 schedule, not being just a wife and just a mom. You said that women aren't built for this, and now you want to do this. I say this as somebody who decided to give up grad school, set aside other plans, and decided that I was going to be primarily a homemaker and homeschool mother for my children. To act like that is all women should be equipped for, to act like women aren't built for anything else, to reduce all of us to just being a wife and mother, while those are wonderful vocations, they require a highly specialized set of skills, and few people do it well in American society. Women are built for so much more than that. Would you say that men are only built to be dads? Again, it was just the most blatantly transparent comment, pandering to not only conservative men, but also the kind of Mormon mommy blogger ballerina farm fans that she was hoping would, be a significant component of her supporters. But now, what's she telling them now that she's running for office? Are they all suddenly going to vote for her? Do they not remember what she said a year ago? But as if that wasn't enough, anti-feminist, misogynistic, pick-me shit coming from Miley Biggs. Earlier, wait till you hear what else she said. She questioned whether or not women should have the right to vote. In fact, she acknowledged that when women have the right to vote, guess what happens? Republican men don't get elected. She said, have you seen ones where it's like if women were the only ones to vote, what it would look like? And it's literally 80% blue, she said with a laugh. It's like, whoa, repeal the 19th Amendment. Sweetheart, you just said with your whole chest that you enthusiastically support your own oppression. You just said you are anxious to suppress the voices of other women because you know that if women's voices are heard, our votes are counted, that Republicans can't win. I mean, we know that Republicans can only win through voter suppression, like what we're seeing now in Texas and in Florida. Active gerrymandering, active voter suppression. We've seen how many state Supreme Court cases where Republicans are trying to get votes thrown out. Why? Because if everybody's votes are counted, the Republicans cannot win. They can only win if they cheat. They can only win if they suppress the vote. And Miley said the quiet part out loud here because she understands if women's votes are counted, the country would be 80% blue. We got to work to control the population. We've got to work to silence the voices of people. It's wild because she said her daddy, Andy Biggs, taught her to love her country, the Constitution, and to value her freedom. You don't love your country. You don't love your countrymen and women. You don't value the Constitution. You don't want those people to have a representative democracy. That's why you're talking about wanting to deprive women of the right to vote, that you think the 19th Amendment should be repealed, even though you are now in a blatantly hypocritical move trying to run for state senate. But Miley, when you say you value your freedoms, again, do you understand why you have those freedoms? It's because all of those blue women, it's because all of those liberal, progressive, leftist, feminist women who fought for the rights that you take for granted, the rights that you are currently trying to strip away from other women. The other day, I duetted a video with a creator that so perfectly speaks to women like Miley, even though they don't want to hear it. But I'm going to post it again here because it just so perfectly encapsulates the hypocrisy of women on the right, how their pick-me behavior is just absolutely not only supporting their own oppression, but a betrayal of their own sex.
Do you know why you can rent an apartment without a husband signing or your dad signing for you? Do you know why you can go to college? Do you know why you can have a bank account in only your name? Do you know why you can have a credit card? Do you know why you can own land? Do you know why you can wear pants? Do you know why you can get birth control prescribed without permission from your husband or your father? Do you know why you can marry who you fall in love with instead of someone your father chose for you? Do you know why you're anything but property? It's because of liberal women.
Women like Miley Biggs are not only betraying themselves, ultimately they are betraying their sex, they are betraying all of us. These are women who, instead of fighting for all of our liberation, understand that if all women got together and exercised our power, that we could transform the society. She understands that. She understands what would happen if women had the power, and yet still, she is wanting our oppression. She's now running for office. Arizona, do not be fooled. A woman who a year ago said that women should not hold public office, a woman a year ago who said that she wanted to do away with the 19th Amendment, is now running for office. Do not be fooled. She's not only a hypocrite, but she will do her damnedest to take away your rights. With the fascist Republicans, it's always rights for me, but not for thee. It's always power for me, but not for thee. It's always wealth for me, but not for thee. She wants to deprive other women of their basic rights, while she has whatever freedoms and power she is able to carve out for herself in a white supremacist, patriarchal, oppressive society.